The practice round at Bay Hill was supposed to be exactly that, and nothing more, a casual, low-stakes warm-up session between close friends. Shane Lowry, still nursing the deep psychological wounds of a nightmare finish at PGA National, walked the familiar fairways alongside Rory McIlroy, searching for some solace, looking for a bit of perspective. What he got instead was a blast of raw, unfiltered, straight-from-the-gut honesty from the world number 2. McIlroy did not merely offer his friend comfort and reassurance. He exploded on a subject that has been quietly simmering beneath the surface of professional golf for many months, and by the time he was finished speaking, he had issued a demand that has both the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour scrambling to respond. "I just do not see what more they can possibly do to accommodate these guys," McIlroy fumed. 8 guys took the deal that was offered to them. 1 guy did not. That is a genuine shame. But it was not just Rahm that McIlroy was targeting with his sharp words. It was the entire system, the endless politics, the exhausting battles that keep professional golf from just being golf. And now, with the future of the Ryder Cup hanging directly in the balance, McIlroy is drawing a firm line in the sand. Subscribe now for the full story of the explosive outburst that has the entire Bay Hill golf community buzzing. So when Lowry arrived at Bay Hill, still smarting from his Cognizant Classic collapse, back-to-back double bogeys on the infamous bear trap that cost him a tournament he had firmly in his grasp, McIlroy was already there waiting for him. They met for a practice round at Arnie's place, the familiar, rolling fairways of Bay Hill providing the perfect backdrop for conversation that went far beyond the technicalities of golf swings. I reminded him that I double bogeyed the 18th hole at PGA National back in 2014, McIlroy recounted afterward. And I went on to win 2 major championships that same year. It was just 2 bad holes, 2 bad swings. It does not mean the rest of the year is going to be bad. It was exactly what Lowry needed to hear in that moment. But the conversation did not stop there. McIlroy has always worn his heart openly on his sleeve. He is a player who speaks his honest mind when others choose to stay silent. He wades directly into controversy while others hide safely behind vague platitudes and non-answers. And this week, with the golf world's full attention fixed firmly on Bay Hill, he had plenty to say. The $20 million signature event was supposed to be all about the golf itself, about McIlroy chasing a 30th career victory, about Scottie Scheffler looking to bounce back from uncharacteristically slow starts, about Justin Thomas returning from surgery. But the talking points among fans and media quickly shifted to a familiar, ongoing subject, Jon Rahm, the DP World Tour, and the continuing saga of LIV Golf complex entanglement with the Ryder Cup. And McIlroy was not in the mood to be diplomatic about any of it. Jon Rahm has always done things his own way. The Spanish bulldog does not bend easily, does not compromise when he genuinely believes he is right, and does not care much about what public opinion thinks of him. Those very qualities made him a fan favorite around the world. They also made him the only holdout in a deal that 8 of his fellow LIV players accepted without any hesitation whatsoever. The DP World Tour had officially offered a conditional release arrangement, play 6 European Tour events per year, 2 more than the standard required for basic membership, and let the tour itself select 2 of those starts. In return for this commitment, the outstanding fines for previously playing LIV events will be fully waived, and Ryder Cup eligibility would remain completely intact. 8 players, including Tyrrell Hatton, Laurie Cantor, and Thomas Detry, signed the agreement immediately. Rahm refused. It just seems like, in a certain way, they are using our impact in tournaments and finding us and trying to benefit both ways from what we have to offer, Rahm said from Hong Kong, where he was preparing for LIV Golf's latest stop on their global schedule. It is just, in a way, they are extorting players like myself and young players who have nothing whatsoever to do with the politics of this game. The word extortion landed like a bomb in the golf media, and when McIlroy heard it, he simply could not stay silent. Geez, in my honest opinion, it is a really, really generous deal, McIlroy fired back from Bay Hill. Like, it is a much softer deal than what Brooks Koepka agreed to in order to come back and play on the PGA Tour. He was referring to Brooks Koepka's return agreement, which cost a 5-time major champion 5 years of player equity program eligibility, removal from the 2026 FedEx Cup bonus program, and a $5 million charitable donation to the Tour's foundation. Compared to that stiff penalty, the European Tour's offer to LIV players looked downright reasonable and lenient. Look, the European Tour can only do so much to accommodate these guys, McIlroy continued. There is a reason that 8 of the 9 guys took that deal, right? I think it is a really, really good deal for them. Here is where the stakes get genuinely real. Luke Donald was just confirmed as European Ryder Cup captain for the 2027 matches at Adair Manor in Ireland. The continuity of leadership is something that McIlroy openly celebrates. It is obviously a huge advantage for the European team to have that continuity and that consistency, he acknowledged. But that significant competitive advantage disappears entirely if Jon Rahm is not selected for the team. McIlroy made this crystal clear. The door is open for Rahm to return, but it will not stay open forever. The Ryder Cup is bigger than any single person, McIlroy said emphatically. It is bigger than all of us combined. Players come and go. We all simply pass through the system. It is the platform itself that is a truly big thing. I think we should all be deeply grateful that we have a platform like the Ryder Cup that we can play on, that we can showcase our skills, and that we can be a part of something that is obviously way bigger than ourselves as individuals. So at the end of the day, it is all about the team, and no one player is bigger than the team. The message was unmistakable and delivered with force. Jon Rahm is not bigger than the Ryder Cup. If he does not want to play by the established rules, Europe will simply move on without him. I just do not see what more the European Tour can possibly do to accommodate these guys and help them retain their membership, McIlroy added. It was a pointed, deliberate warning, delivered with the full weight of a 5-time major champion who has been the backbone of European golf for over a decade. And it sent immediate shockwaves through the entire community at Bay Hill. Rahm's objection comes down to just 2 events, 2 extra tournaments on his schedule. The deal requires LIV players to compete in 6 European Tour events annually, with 2 of those events specifically selected by the Tour itself. Rahm wants that number reduced back down to 4, the standard membership requirement for all other players. He told reporters that he would sign tonight if that number dropped back to the original 4. McIlroy sees the situation very differently, which is not a heavy lift at all, he said of the 2 extra events. I mean, to retain your full membership status, you need to play 4 events on the DP World Tour outside of the major championships. And that, to me, does not seem unreasonable. Yes, maybe the European Tour gets to have a say in where exactly those 2 additional events are located. But I mean, I am sure Jon does not want to go to South Africa next week, but he is going there anyway. Rahm is indeed headed to South Africa for LIV Golf's next scheduled stop. His commitment to his new league is not the real issue here. The real issue is control. Who gets to dictate exactly where and when he plays his tournaments? McIlroy is not buying Rahm's argument at all. He signed a contract with LIV and he plays 14 events in that whole schedule. I get all of that completely. But the DP World Tour is well within its legal rights to protect itself as a members' organization and as a legitimate business entity. And if you asked any DP World Tour member about the deal that they have cut with the LIV guys, I think they would all say that it was pretty generous to them. The math is brutally simple. 8 players said yes to the deal. 1 player said no. McIlroy's frustration is that the one holdout is a player that Europe simply cannot afford to lose, and that Rahm seemed genuinely willing to walk away from the Ryder Cup entirely over what McIlroy views as a relatively minor concession. The Arnold Palmer Invitational will be played regardless. Scottie Scheffler will chase another red cardigan sweater. Rory McIlroy will try to add to his 2018 victory and his 6 career top 10 finishes at Bay Hill. Shane Lowry will try to put the cognizant nightmare behind him and focus squarely on the massive Florida stretch of tournaments that lies directly ahead. But the Rahm situation will not simply disappear on its own. The DP World Tour has made its official offer. 8 players have accepted it. The 9th player is standing firm, calling the terms extortion, and refusing to budge from his position. McIlroy has made his own position absolutely clear. The Tour has done more than enough already, and Rahm needs to decide for himself whether playing in the Ryder Cup matters enough to him to warrant a compromise. For Rahm, the personal calculation is deeply individual. He has never been one to back down from a fight. His entire professional career has been defined by stubborn excellence, by refusing to accept anyone else's definition of what is possible for him to achieve. But this particular fight is not about winning a golf tournament. It is about participating in the greatest team event that the entire sport has to offer. If you genuinely want to play on the Ryder Cup team, McIlroy stated flatly and directly, You have to be a member of the DP World Tour. You have to abide by the rules and regulations of that organization. Those rules now require 2 additional events per year, 2 weekends, 2 flights, 2 opportunities to demonstrate that the Ryder Cup still truly matters to you as a player. Luke Donald will watch from afar, hoping that the situation eventually resolves itself in Europe's favor. Rahm's Ryder Cup teammates will hope that he finds a way back into the fold. And McIlroy will just keep playing, keep winning, and keep reminding everyone that the Ryder Cup is fundamentally bigger than any individual player. The Ryder Cup is bigger than any one person. It is bigger than all of us combined. That is not a threat. It is simply a fact. And Jon Rahm is the only person who can decide whether he wants to be a part of it. For more in-depth coverage of the biggest stories in the world of professional golf, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.